Okay, I will, as it's 5 o'clock, I'll call to order the November 12th EAC meeting. But there's people popping in everywhere. Hi, Sophie.
Hello.
Public participation. I see there's a couple of people on Zoom. You want to say anything?
Actually, I wanted to congratulate.
You have to introduce yourself. Sorry.
Okay, now I understand. I'm Carol Zubek from the Grassroots Sustainable Wakefield. And I wanted to upfront congratulate everybody on their hard work for getting the bans through. That was awesome. But I'm hoping that combination we could maybe move forward with. It seemed to be enthusiasm for creating a fund where we can gather all the money that all the people said that they're willing to pay the extra cost. So maybe we can do that up front. And then the other part was the article that was posted didn't happen to mention all the great pro-business, totally understanding, this is something that's good for the businesses for many, many reasons. We could combination of say what all was mentioned and then even add more to make sure that people understand that we get it.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. We are going to talk about it on our, we have it on our agenda to talk, so thank you. Hang on. Was there someone else somewhere? Public participation. Oh, Rob, would you like to say anything?
Yes, Robert Volley, 157 Parker. I have some background with what Carol's been proposing, but I'm not sure if this is the right forum or what the right protocol is. And I'm curious, so I'll go ahead and ask. We have some proposals here that, for example, would be to some extent beyond the remit of both ESC and any grassroots organization, especially things that might involve finance, reaching out to business. How do you propose, or is this the right forum to have those kind of discussions as to how something might move forward? Or would that be a separate offline discussion? In other words, I'm not quite sure of your public participation and what you would want to do with us, the public, in that bit of time.
So I guess we could have an offline, and then I can always put it on the agenda as an agenda item and invite you in to discuss it.
Got it.
Like we did with Melissa, she brought the styrofoam ban to us, and then we brought it to the committee, and then we voted on it, and then we moved forward with it. So
could I ask perhaps a related question? I don't want to take your agenda time up because it's a long night, but well, we all attended town meeting, or most of us did. There were some implied follow-ups that were hanging in the air like loose chads, especially with Article 8, where there was some back and forth about what part of the business community was on board or what they objected to. And again, I'm not sure, this may not be so much a question as I'll just put it out there for further thought, maybe offline. If there was a need or a desire, or it looked like more dialogue with the business community was desirable, or reaching out to our adjacent communities that have already done this makes sense, how would we move forward with that? Would that be something that spontaneously, certainly we could do it off board as, say, SW. Would you be also doing something in parallel as an informal or formal activity? Again, I'm asking out of ignorance, not being quite used to how town committees.
An update on this too during.
Hi, Julie.
During the meeting, I have an update.
Thank you.
At least on what the town is thinking, and then I think Rob was right that there's some other complementary things, and we can put it on the agenda and collaborate.
Great, thank you all.
No problem. There's a phone number ending 9343. Is this for public participation? Would you like to say? Oh, Susie on the phone. Okay. All right. Thank you, Susie. I don't see anybody else. Does anybody else see anyone? I don't. No. Okay, I don't see anyone else for public participation. So I'll move on to item 3, approval of minutes. We're going to skip this month. They weren't ready, so.
Sorry, guys.
Don't worry.
We've been having a lot of meetings.
There's been a lot going on, so we'll catch up and clean them all up at our next meeting. So.
And the good news is that the public can watch them on recorded as well before the minutes come out. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're all on our website and they're all uploaded. So, item 4 on the agenda. So, town articles. So obviously we had our town meeting and both of our articles passed. So there was a lot of discussions there. So I put it back on the agenda for debrief and next steps. And some of the public has mentioned some things. And I think Julie just said she wanted to say something about that.
I can give a little update. So as most people know, they passed and with a fairly broad margin as well. So thank you to everybody who came out or got people out. I thought it was a really good dialogue. And I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of us in this committee. I spoke with Steve today because I do think that some of the issues or concerns that were raised there are certainly valid. And the fact that we have, the businesses have anywhere from 7 to 13 months to comply actually gives us a lot of time to work with them and try to find solutions that really, might be the best for the town and frankly might even accelerate it on a voluntary basis versus a compliance basis. So I spoke with Steve today and Steve Mayo, our town administrator, and he was already kind of thinking the same thing. So our town communications director is putting together kind of a letter to the businesses and a package that they're going to run by this committee that informs them of what's happening and really tries to show kind of pictures of what is what's acceptable, really a clearer understanding. I mean, those are pretty dense articles, try to distill it down. And I think as part of that package, I know, when Melissa brought this to us, Somerville was actually kind of putting out quarterly lists of products and where you could buy them and what current prices are. We could think about taking some of those actions. And I think this is where we can go to Sustainable Wakefield or the Chamber and talk about some of these ideas like a fund to help offset the costs or pool buying, group buying to bring it up to a larger scale. So Steve is thinking that will go out in January. It might be nice for this committee. It might be nice for this committee, and I think, Rob, you're right there. Robert, you're right. There was, there were some kind of issues left open and hanging that may not have been covered in the daily item. So I was actually thinking that maybe this committee could instruct, 1 or 2 of us, or maybe on Rob as the chair, to put a letter in the newspaper that kind of talks about some of the facts and the businesses and where we see some of the benefits, but also about our intention to work with the businesses in advance of compliance to really ease the transition. It would be great to kind of imply in there, although we don't know exactly what it will be, but we had public participation show up to today's meeting, and there are people in the public that also have some really good ideas.
Yeah.
Just one thing from town meeting that which was brought up that I hadn't really thought about was someone had brought up around raw meats and styrofoam being kind of the only material that's available for packaging raw meat that's safe from a food safety standpoint. I personally don't know the validity of that statement, if that is really true or not. I would assume that would fall under the provision of, there is no alternative, but I didn't know if there needs to be to be addressed directly.
I picked up on that as well. And we could look into that. I know Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, they have that sort of stuff and they don't use styrofoam.
Okay, so there is alternatives.
So there is some alternatives. They did mention fish, but I've never seen fish served on styrofoam, raw fish. But it's definitely something we need to take away.
And I would remind folks that the policy is that if it's packaged at that location. So if you buy, I don't know, sausages comes to mind, often comes on a tray, but that is a brand that packages elsewhere. So that's not impacted. It's just the local butcher or fishmonger or whatever, and them having to look at alternatives as how they package things.
Yeah.
But I also hadn't thought of it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Farmland does styrofoam. I think they just put things in a bag.
Right.
So it's really, it would just be like Shaw's if Shaw's repackages from a large container of raw chicken or whatever onto a styrofoam tray and then wraps it in some kind of plastic wrap.
Yeah, I don't go into Farmland that often, but when I do go, and I see the calzones are always on the styrofoam tray with the clean film around them. But that's the only thing I've seen on those trays. So,
I think there's two issues. One is there a safe alternative, right? Which is what Tom, I think, is saying, because there was some implication that maybe there's not. And the second one, I mean, I think it's clear that the ordinance does apply to things packaged, including meats in Wakefield.
Yeah.
So we should definitely, and you know, we do have some time to work through this kind of stuff, and definitely, we tried to go to Farmland. Rob and I went, and the manager never got back to me, but it's a busy time. We'll go and spend some more time with them as well.
Yeah, and we did go to the ice cream place, and they were already looking at changing over. So, and the timescale that we talked about works for those guys. So
maybe in the minutes, Robin, just make clear that we want to look into, you know, safety issues around meat packaging. I don't know whether it's because it's raw, maybe.
Yeah, just the food safety.
Maybe it's a public health
when it comes to food safety, I want to be clear that we are not qualified to determine food safety, and that if there's questions, it's the town's public health department that to weigh in. And then
so let's put in our minutes that we're going to consult the town's health department.
Yes. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good point.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to get any of this kind of information online because you have different industries competing against each other. And I agree that I think the determination of the health department on something like that.
Yeah.
I hope next time I walk into a grocery store to see what others are doing, because I do know that like Wegmans, a lot of their prepared stuff is actually on a metal tray or a little metal dish for the purpose you could just throw it into the oven. So I don't know if that is true to their raw meats, except for ones that have had something done to it. But, you know, just pay attention what other people are doing as examples, and we can photograph it or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, overall, there was good participation at the meeting, and there's a lot of good discussion, I guess.
There was, and I think we did a good job of kind of anticipating what we thought the concerns would be, and being fair and giving a lot of discretion. And very good job, Melissa and Myra, for presenting, and Rob for being up front. You guys did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I have to give Melissa. Did you get a newspaper? Do you want me to bring?
Yes, I did. I got one.
Okay. Front page. Okay, so what do we think about writing a letter to the item and maybe putting it on the patch and on social media that just, you know, I mean, I don't have it here. I don't have one in front of us for us to vote on, but I can say that maybe the three concepts would be thanking people who voted in favor of it, you know, kind of dealing with the elephant in the room, which is the COVID, the business, a lot of the things we talked about. And then maybe third kind of, or maybe there's four, and maybe third is kind of, you know, why we think this is good for Wakefield and businesses, some of the business advantages. And then four being, you know, our intention to really spend the time, this transition period into compliance to do awareness raising and to think about some innovative solutions and information sharing. And then again, implying that there's been some good ideas out of the public as well, and we invite others to collaborate with us.
Can I just add one thing?
Yep.
So I know that when Melrose was starting their campaign for the Styrofoam ban, they kind of went door to door to the businesses and handed them a physical copy of that list of alternatives,
okay,
and other information that was you know, pretty straightforward from the legislation.
Yeah, and that sounds to me like what our communications person is putting together. So that's a good point on distribution, rather than just emailing it, really. Maybe this is something this committee could do. Maybe we can kind of divide and conquer and go do that if they're accessible.
Yeah. So do we have to vote on a letter, or can me and a couple of us draft it up?
I don't think we have to vote. The important thing is that we just can't have a majority kind of write it. So it's just,
right.
You know, maybe just selecting 2 people to write it.
I just want to add about the town meeting that I didn't write his name, although I described him as a Dennis. I don't know his last name. The former science teacher. He was awesome.
Dennis Clordy, yeah.
That was so powerful for, you know, to bring a little science in and what it means to him. I mean, I don't know, never seen the guy before. If I have, I didn't make note of it, but I was so impressed by his passion, and without, you know, us ever having him in the process. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was it was just so nice to see people who we hadn't really planned on, either, you know, new people I'd never seen before, or some of the regulars, frankly, who were supportive.
Yeah. Yeah, it was surprising.
Yeah, there was one person, there was a younger person who I didn't know, who was also very passionate about climate change, which I thought, I was like, how had we seen her before?
Well, we know her address. All we have to do is watch I
have to read the paper.
Yeah. And actually, in writing, and I'll help write the letter if somebody wants to help. But I think it would be kind of powerful to pull some of those quotes out. I didn't read the article and the item too closely to see which they pulled, which they didn't.
I can help you write the article, Julie.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Great.
And then I don't know if we want to, you know, it wants to be signed by the committee or by you, Rob, or what?
I think we sign it. Maybe Rob, you sign it on behalf of the committee.
Sure, if everybody's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, anybody else can write something as an individual as well. Susie still on? I was kind of thinking maybe Susie and I, as kind of town council and school committee, might be able to do something too. Let's see how this first one goes down.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to step back quickly, just because a couple of people joined in, so I'm just going to give them the opportunity. Cheyenne, you came in after public participation. Did you want to add anything?
No, I'll just listen, but thank you.
Okay. All right. No problem. There was one other just popped in. Oh, Jay Green.
Hi.
Did you want to say? Hey, did you want to say anything in public participation?
No, I was glad I could hop on before our meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice to see you.
Do you have anything good on your agenda tonight?
We always have good stuff.
Just Conservation Commission, for those who don't know. How can I ask a question? I know she's how did your light pollution event go?
It was great. She did really an outstanding job. So I proposed having more seminars, like every couple of months, have something different. So the next one we're looking at is a wildlife-based seminar. So people can see what lives in town, how to live with them, what not to do. So I think it would be helpful.
That would be great.
So if you have any ideas for upcoming seminars, because the last speaker was free. So, you know, that's always good. That's in our budget, free.
Is the seminar available online?
Yes, it was a Zoom hearing. It was a regular, regular
public meeting. Okay.
Yes. And her website, the woman who gave the seminar, she has a blog, and it's unbelievable, some of the stuff I mean, it's just so interesting, the things that she posts. And all relevant, I think, to things we can be doing in Wakefield. And there was some members of the ZBA and the planning board that also came, so that was good. Because it comes up, you know, often in there, and especially the ZBA, they can mandate different light schemes. So I think that's going to be helpful moving forward. Just to have, you know, some dialogue amongst the boards is always helpful.
I agree completely.
And that's what I'm hoping going forward, that it's going to generate more joint meetings.
Yeah, and if we can collaborate on any of the seminars, let us know. We'll come.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Great. All right. Thanks. Next on the agenda, then we'll go back to item 4, the pumpkin drop. So the Woodville stepped up. There was more than 7 this year, so they made up for the Canterbury, who couldn't participate this year. So it ended up being about the same. It was a truckload, which they estimate is about £2,000 of pumpkins. So
not a high bar for the Woodville.
No, it wasn't a high bar, but they did step up. So yeah, it was good.
We got some sympathy pumpkins. I took mine over there.
Actually, I left one there on the top. So
my kids and I went chased the truck and like threw all the pumpkins in the back, and it was really fun. It was so thanks, Rob, for coordinating it all.
Yeah,
and for doing the big duty, going to all 4 schools. But
yeah, and Cheyenne, your kids turned up and threw us something. So yeah, thanks for the help.
It was really fun. Plus, you get to see the creativity of the town all in one place.
Yeah, there was some good. Yeah. Student liaison posting.
So I have it. I just wanted to confirm a couple things. One, last year we put in the date the time we usually meet. So are we now like officially on the second Thursdays of the month? And do we have a time that we're going? We used to be at 7, now we're at 5. Do we want to say that when we meet?
So yeah, we were all over the place before town meeting. There's some. Is everybody still happy with the second Thursday? And are they okay with an earlier time until things change?
5 is tough for me.
Okay.
I'm still in.
I think 7's going to be better, especially, you know, as if we ever get back to normal, there'd almost be 0 chance that I could make a 5 o'clock. With, okay. Work, kids.
I forgot to change it from 5 to 7 for this one, so to put it back to normal. So okay, so we'll leave it the second Thursday at 7 p.m.
Great. And then I was going to put a deadline of December 15th, but I don't know if I think we said we weren't going to meet in December. So do we want to leave it for a deadline of early January so that they arrive right before our January meeting, or when's our next meeting, I guess is my question.
So we discussed not having one next month because we had quite a few to get ready for the town meeting. So the next one will be January 7th. So yeah, we could leave it to the January 2nd or something. Give us a few days to read them before the meeting.
Great.
Are we allowed to still come to the next meeting or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there won't be another meeting though till January, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So if you're selecting the people, then should we not come to that one, or?
Oh, you're coming.
You should still come. Yeah.
Sophie, even if you weren't, it's always open to the public. So there's no there's no reason not to come.
I hope you're both reapplying too.
Yes.
This is just a formality. Because we can have as many students as we want. So if you have other people who want to sit through meetings on a Thursday.
Right. Yeah, so as soon as it's posted, I will send it to you guys again.
And so that was the other change I made. It said 1 student, and I changed it to 1 or more students.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
So
you'll send that off to Sherry?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you.
One procedural question. Julie, does the town council need to approve again? Or
You know,
because
it's funny you were saying that. I would send it to Sherry and let her make that determination.
Okay.
Trash reduction and increasing. So Joe couldn't make it today. He's back-to-back meetings. He was double booked. So he did send me an email. He has a few more questions for the composting, which he's figuring out. And he's putting together a proposal to get better pricing for the composting for the residents of Wakefield. Did not include. Okay. Sorry, I'm just quickly reading his email again. So that's all we have on the tax reduction right now. While I'm on I'm just going to jump down on the agenda. The plastic bag collection runs out December 1st. Joe has put it on the RFP for the new vendor for the recycling, but we're going to try and work with Home Depot and see if they'll continue collecting them until we can figure out something else. So we won't stop it for now, if that works.
Right.
So
how close are we to our 4 benches?
We are at £1,900. So we will do it on Monday. We'll have it.
That's 4. That'll be 4 benches.
That'll be 4 benches, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as long as we get approval for 4. I did email and I haven't heard back yet. But,
yeah, she's not always the fastest.
But yeah, we will make 4 benches. So potentially they'll go to the 4 elementary schools.
Great.
So, just kind of logistics, when the benches come in, will they have any sort of like placking or any?
Oh, I have no idea. They're Trex benches. We can pick a color.
Yeah.
Actually, no, there won't be. I don't think there'll be a plaque on them.
Yeah. No, I was wondering if we should put, potentially a plaque stating, or if they have like that these benches were, made from recycled material, plastic bags from the community, just as a, advertise, where they came from, and that they are recycled, right? And to show kind of the work is done.
I have no idea.
Before the community bans outright plastic bags.
So this is what your bag's turned into, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'll look into it, but yeah.
Yeah, just a thought. I don't know what the feasibility of it is, but
and I think what we'll have to do is accept them as a gift. There'll be a little process around it. But I would have them sent. We'll have them sent to the DPW process.
Oh, okay. And then we have to.
I think we'll have to figure out what the value is.
Free? Oh, even though they're free, there's a potential.
Yeah, it'll just be. It's just like you always see it's accepting gifts from the library or in-kind gifts for the school. That's what. It's just a. There's a general law that says.
Okay.
Rob, on the trash contract, I remember a meeting ago or maybe 2, Joe had posed the question, sort of, are there other wish list items for the RFP? And I didn't know.
Right. So some of you did email me. It's not closed yet, but some guys did email them, and I did put those together and send them off to Joe. If you have any others, we can send them to him still. Green Communities Act.
Yeah, I know you sent me a text on this morning. So nothing really to update since the last time, except that I think I talked about it. We're putting together a working group on it, and it will consist of a member from the town council, the building inspector, a light commissioner, a DPW director designee, Erin Kokinda, who is the new community and economic development director, Jen McDonald, who's the communications director, a light department manager or designee, so a commissioner and a manager on that, because it's so energy heavy. A member of this committee, of the Environmental Sustainability Committee, and the town administrator.
And is there an idea when we might be starting that? Or?
I think
that's
a very good question. Well, I feel like we're in November. I think we'll probably try to form it at the end of November, December, and probably not meet until January.
Oh, okay. End of January, so we have time to talk about it.
The town meeting isn't until May, right? And we've determined that the only item we have to go to town meeting on is the stretch code. So we need to leave time for some communications and a public dialogue around stretch code. The other thing I think we need to leave some time for is the baseline, but that's more of a tabletop exercise, the energy baseline.
Julie, don't we need to go to town meeting also for the zoning overlay, or is that determined that we didn't need?
We determined that the way zoning is written right now, we qualify.
Okay, cool, even better.
Yeah, we had a meeting and our town attorney was on the phone and the Department of Energy Resources, and they looked at the code together and said we're fine. So that's a huge step.
Yeah, bringing anything related to zoning to town meeting is just a...
Yeah, that's a 2/3 vote. It would have been tough. So now it's really stretch code. And the stretch code is probably going to be changing in the next year or so, but we'll probably come into the old one, and then and then we can always make a determination if the new one still serves us or not. But I think it'll be okay.
Well,
so this is the official town working group. We'll definitely have we'll definitely have community sessions. I think we'll want to talk with some of the bigger developers in town, especially around the stretch code. They're going to be the ones who that impacts, because it's only on new build.
Yeah. What do you do? Oh, Mary, it's nice to see you back. We've left it on the.
It's good to be back.
Good.
Some sense of normalcy.
We had land protection on there, but we haven't really done any updates. We haven't had a chance to read through the stuff yet and talk to you about it. So I didn't know if you had a chance and wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't really have an update, although before I was on leave, Judy and I did have a good conversation, and she had sent over some more information around some land in the town. Judy, I don't know if you want to speak to it or do a quick recap of what you shared.
Well, I had suggested there were quite a few lots in town that are tax title. So my idea was having, try to find a lot in virtually every area of town and maybe clear out a spot and have, like the reason I thought of it was because there's a lot that's wetland that conservation is looking at removing the invasives, planting native plants, and then having a type of a kiosk. This is the wetland, this is why it's important for it to be healthy, why you shouldn't dump your grass clippings here. And these are the plants to look for. These are the animals that will come here, to try to heighten the awareness of the importance of these open areas. So I thought if there could be some sprinkling of this throughout town, and if it's tax title land anyways that isn't bringing in revenue for the town, then maybe it could be, given or a severely reduced rate sold to if there was a land trust developed. But also the trails. There are a lot of trails in town that people don't know about off Holland Road by J.J. Round Park. And J.J. Round, that's the highest spot in Wakefield, and you can see Boston from the very top. So there are different areas like that. The town forest that is tax title land that people don't know about. Places like that that could be vulnerable in the future, you know, as land shrinks even further. So it's just something that I think is better to be proactive about and try to get some kind of protection in conjunction with heightening awareness of why we need to protect what we have now. Because I think it was maybe 15, 20 years ago, MEPC said Wakefield was basically built out. And since then, I mean, development has skyrocketed, you know, mainly through apartment buildings, duplexes, things like that. But it always seems like there's no land left. And then all of a sudden, you know, areas that would have been borderline usable before are suddenly under the spotlight. So I think it's important to be more proactive now and really get a grip on things.
Yeah, what really struck me is that there's existing land like the Wakefield Forest that still is, you know, there's risk there for, you know, that to be used in some form or fashion. And
Right.
so if we can think about how do we protect that long term and have a more concrete strategy with at least going forward with that, I think it'll go a long way for the town and our air quality and
right
everything
and
else.
I saw a post a couple of weeks on the Wakefield community page, and it was someone talking about the town forest, and a couple of people chimed in and said, oh, it's, you know, it's trails and this, and they were looking for more information about the town forest. So I think there is a lot more interest out there that you just don't hear about. So I think it would be a good starting point.
Yeah, so I don't know, Rob, I know you and I and Judy need to kind of regroup. Do you want to do something offline on this? And then we can continue to kind of explore what are the avenues and.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Yeah, sorry, Judy, I think I cut you off.
No, that's right. Because I thought this would be another topic that conservation could have as one of their seminars, have someone, I mean, we had a different group had Andover Village Improvement Society. They're a land trust. They had come out and had a big, it was really good, the speakers that they sent out. So I was thinking of something like that, someone from a local land trust to speak about how they developed it, you know, the obstacles, the successes, things like that.
Okay, well, I'll reach out to you guys offline then. Oh, sorry, Robin.
I was gonna ask, so at town meeting, the land that we just rebought, or whatever the right word is, is that a potential to be added to the list, or is that because of the complexities of the abatement and stuff is not?
Is this Butler Ave?
I don't know its address.
Yeah, it's Butler Ave.
Yeah, that's not going to be left.
Sadly, well, but the town owns the land now, right? I mean, it has to be capped.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not the entire site that's, I mean, there's one spot on the lot where they buried it all. So
but now that the town owns it, I mean, maybe there's a way to keep some of it open space or something.
Yeah, and part of, when it came before conservation, there was an agreement with the person who was developing it to have a section for a wildlife corridor to be kept that way. But I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, something to kind of keep our eye on.
Right.
It's going to be a long time before we decide.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a couple of years out. It has to be remediated. And
right. Yeah, it's going to be costly. Can I just mention one more thing? There was a post on the town website about the Cultural Council. They have grants. The deadline for the yearly grant is coming up. And one of the things I didn't realize that you can get a grant that has community-oriented sciences. So I had mentioned to Rob and I think Mary before about the spiral wetland idea. It's I just keep talking about it for Lake Quannapowitt. And I had talked to Chris Carino from the Albion Street Cultural several years ago about it, because in Michigan they had, it was an art contest in the high school, and they designed all different configurations of this spiral wetland. This is a great pattern, and you put different wetland plants in it, and you can have it in any kind of configuration. So I thought something like that for Lake Quannapowitt, it wouldn't provide a huge amount of pollutant uptake, but it would give another visual interest that would get people interested in, you know, maybe cleaning up the lake and why it'll be important. I mean, there are other things that could be done. There was one, another thing, it was the straw, they're called straw wattles. They use them for erosion control. And they had a little, it looked like a maize and they planted native plants in it. And then at harvest time, at the end of their farmer's market, they cut them up and planted them on town land with signage that said, you know, this is the value of native planting. This is where it started. So I thought maybe it could be somewhere around the farmer's market because there's such an amount of foot traffic. So it would be like, sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, so you did send me the spiral thing. I was going to bring that up at the Clean Lake Committee, but we haven't actually met.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just happened to see this. It may be something
really...
to think about for next year, the Cultural Council grants.
That's pretty cool. I just looked up spiral wetland. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's because it started with the Smithsonian. It's really that artist's website, Stacy Levy. She has a million different great ideas that are all environmentally and community oriented based. So I figured that's something that, I mean, if there's grant money, Wakefield this year was allocated $8,700 from the state for the Cultural Council. But even if it's a few $1,000s, it can go a long way to some kind of public awareness, environmentally based, you know, where it's sciences is one of the arms of it. So it's just something to keep up in mind.
Yeah.
The grants are due December 14th. They were extended.
Right.
Okay.
All right, thanks for that. I'll look at that. Yeah. Plastic bag. Okay. Safe Streets Group. Julie, did you have any?
Oh, yes, I do. They are meeting they're going to actually have 2 meetings this month. One is on November 17th, so a Tuesday night, and that is just a bit of a planning meeting. So they're going to send out an agenda probably today. I have it in my inbox to review. Really that's a prep meeting because on November 24th, VHB, which are the designers for the Envision Wakefield project, are going to speak to the Safe Streets Working Group about what the design is like and how bikes and pedestrians are going to be integrated into it. And so the meeting on the 17th is to really talk about what questions we want to ask and what information we'd like to hear from VHB to send to them in advance so that on the 24th, that is a fruitful conversation. And I can tell you there's already kind of questions about Albion Street, and they are going to be shared bike lanes, but you know, what are the dimensions? What legally do the dimensions have to be to get a dedicated bike lane? Those are going to be the kinds of questions. So to have the engineers and the planners from VHB there to talk about the really the Envision the downtown, but also, you know, other intersections in town. The Youth Council has brought to the Safe Streets Working Group, again, as many people have, the high school intersection, which is in Woodville, which is terribly dangerous. So I think that they're going to try to gather questions and then have a conversation on the 24th with VHB about, you know, what's doable, where do the funds come from, what's required, what's, you know, if we're using the TIP funds, what has to happen, those kinds of things.
Well, thanks for that. So next on the agenda is updates. Student members, Addie or Susie, do you have anything you'd like to add, say, comments?
No, I do not.
No? Addie?
Yeah, there's not really much going on right now.
Addie, what's going on with Sunrise? Anything going on with Sunrise?
I think we might be shifting more to like education rather than like action or like political action, and like moving away from the, I don't know, like goals of Sunrise kind of. So yeah.
Okay.
But nothing's really happening right now.
Yeah.
Thanks. Susie's, she says she's on, but she's actually dropped off. She had to do something else. So town council.
I don't think I have anything. I did hear that the community garden is closed now for the season, and that will be open back up for interest probably in the early spring, and they'll do a lottery for assigning those. But that's all I have.
So it's annually people have to apply?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rules spelled out that you couldn't plant, you only had to plant annuals, you couldn't plant any perennials because it was meant
So there's no opportunity for overwinter garlic and stuff? That's too bad.
No, that's interesting. Well, actually, let me.
Because some things actually should go in the ground now for harvest.
They did say it was closing, but they said the water was being turned off. I actually don't know whether that means it's not accessible at all. I might have been making assumptions, Robin, that I shouldn't be.
The communication that went out from Dan McGrath to the holders of the community garden plots said it was closing on the 15th. I mean, he's been really flexible and really great about sort of administering it in less than ideal circumstances. So I have a feeling if there was interest, he may be open to it. I don't know if people expressed interest. I know people had planted some late fall crops and they were hoping to get them harvested before it closed. I know he was also looking for feedback on the community garden experience, and I mean it was awesome. It's like the nicest community garden I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was good.
I think this is just our first year, so give feedback, and I don't think there's any rules set in stone.
Yeah, but
I just don't want the pipes to freeze.
Yeah, the guidance was it was an annual. You had to reapply every year for a plot into the lottery. Because I saw the same letter for the Cassie's Girl Scout troop was selected for one of the plots this year. So.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Rob.
Oh, thanks. Tom, you've anything?
Just one update. The utility, the Board of Commissioners signed a 5-year contract with Quebec Hydro. So we are bringing down, so we have flow rights on a transmission line that comes in through Western Mass. We're going to be bringing in 0.75 megawatts of power. That's approximately powers 1,095 homes. This is firm power, so it counts towards our base, and it's something that we don't have to go out to bid for annually for capacity and stuff. So this helps with pricing volatility. It is a fixed price for 5 years. And we get all of the environmental benefit credits. So from a pricing standpoint, it was actually a phenomenal deal. And we get to reduce we're increasing our non-carbon production generation by 3.9% and bringing us to 47.2% in our portfolio as of November 1st. And then, question or anything? And then second, just from, reach out to the utility Board of Commissioners with any concerns, advocate, support decisions that we're making, both positive and negative. These are the things that we utilize to make decisions. So, email or attend our meetings are also open meetings as well.
Tom, what about the new energy efficiency for C&I?
Oh yeah, totally forgot about that. I did. So yeah, we are also starting as part of our longer term energy efficiency program. We actually are introducing a C&I, which is commercial and industrial energy efficiency program, kind of like the residential one, but geared towards businesses. So that will start to be available for C&I on January 1st.
Does that include the DPW and town hall and things like that? Can they?
Yeah, it would be muni buildings fall under C&I.
Okay.
So they can go out. We have started. There's 2 types of programs. The program that we're entering into is a prescriptive type program. So it's it's balancing cost effectiveness to results. And we'll, kind of looking at the next year as a pilot program. So, definitely, if small businesses or, that want to take advantage of this, we're always looking for feedback. And this is the first time that we're offering a CNI program. Thanks, Julie. I totally forgot about that.
And Tom, what finally happened with the solar rebates? Was all the money used or expiring?
So it is expiring. Applications need to be, fully approved by December 31st of this year, but you do have the entire year in the 2021 to install. So we're telling folks to get their apps in by December 1st to make sure it gets through all the approval processes. We have about 25 kW. So, depending on the system, approximately three residential systems, or it could be one commercial system. Commercials are capped at 25 left in the programs. So that means, have used approximately 97% of all of the capacity that we had. So there is a little bit left the last time I was updated. So I would say that was a success. We don't know if there's going to be another program from the Department of Energy. I know that the munis that did participate are, asking them to kind of reevaluate and see if we could put together a new program. If not, then it would be up to the individual municipals to put together their own program as well.
And is there a sense that there's some underway? I know ours took a while to get to the application sense.
So the 25 left include we've committed up to that 25. So that 25 is open. There is no pipeline for that at the moment. We've counted those apps that are in process and aren't in the approval. So everything up to that point is approved or in the pipe of being approved. So it's been approved from our perspective and has been passed on to the Department of Energy for final approvals.
And this can be, you said businesses, right? Or even
businesses. Municipality, businesses. The only thing from a business perspective, it just needs to be 25 kW or lower. Which if one business comes, that would be great. It would sop up the rest of the capacity.
Do we know if Joe heard back about adding the extra ones onto the pumping station?
I don't know. I did talk to Steve about it today and told him that there might be some additional funding and to have Joe reach out to the light department. I mean, I think we want residents to get it first, but if there is going to be funding that's going to get lost, and we should get in the pipeline for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything from the water department on that subsequent project.
Yeah.
But I do know, I think it was under 25, so it would be eligible. So.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Tom. DPW, Joe's not here, so we don't have an update. And then Clean Lake Committee, we still haven't met, so I have no update on that, and I'm not sure when our next meeting will be. So, item 5 on the agenda, next meeting. So we all decided we'd take December off as we met so many times, and we'll meet back on January 7th, and I'll put it back to 7 p.m. on January 7th. So,
January 7th is the first Thursday.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Fine, but if we're going to the second Thursday, we'd be looking at the 14th.
Hang on. All right, so originally we were the first Thursday. That's right. But Robin had other commitments.
Yeah, and that's no longer true. So whatever the committee decides, I'm available based on what I know now. Does the committee have a preference of first or second Thursday of each month?
Does that affect you, Julie? You probably have, and
Tom,
you probably have the most meetings.
It doesn't. It's just that, if there's ever a Monday holiday, my town council goes to the Thursday, but there hasn't been a conflict yet, so I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah, the only other thing my board meets on the Wednesday. Is the Wednesday?
Do the second Wednesdays?
Yeah, second Wednesday.
So if we do first,
just back to back. But that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. No, we're in the first Wednesday. Sorry.
So let's keep it the second Wednesday then.
So keep it the second. Okay, so I'll amend that so it's the 14th. Okay.
But I don't think that changes your student applications. We should still try to get them in early January.
Yeah.
I put it, on what I sent off, I put it at the 4th, which is like the Sunday or Monday or something after the holiday.
Great. Thank you.
Got that, Sophie? Addie?
Yes, thank you.
So if we used your picture at the presentation at town meeting with the straws.
Yes, I heard.
It was perfect.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess it's happy holidays, right? See you in the new year. So, oh no, I'm sorry. Matters not anticipated. Does anybody have anything else? Sorry. Anybody else like to bring up? No. Okay. Motion to adjourn then. And happy holidays.
Second.
Thank you. Tom?
Aye.
Me? Aye. Robin?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Myra?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.